Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my 2020 bookshelf tour. This is one of my favorite videos to film. I love going through my collection and showing you guys what books I have on my main bookshelves here. So I have 5 main bookcases in my library, and I separate them by genre and then alphabetical as much as I can to fit everything on the shelves. It doesn't always work alphabetically, but I try to keep everything as close to alphabetical order as possible. So I have my adult fantasy and sci-fi, then I have my young adults fantasy and sci-fi, then I have my classics, my thriller, romance, and historical fiction. But as I'm going through the tour, I will go ahead and put timestamps down below for each specific genre if you want to skip around. But before we go ahead and get on into the tour, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down the description box below for links to all of my social medias, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways from me. The Blade Itself, Before They Are Hanged, and Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie, Best Served Cold, The Heroes, and Red Country. This is the Levelers trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, A Little Hatred, The Trouble with Peace, and The Wisdom of Crowds. This is the Age of Madness series by Joe Abercrombie, Half a King, Half the World, and Half a War. This is the Shattered Sea trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, Rivers of London by Ben Aronovich, The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, all 5 novels by Douglas Adams, The Long Price Quartet, entire series by Daniel Abram, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, The Bear and the Nightingale, The Girl in the Tower, and The Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden, The Handmaid's Tale and the Testaments by Margaret Atwood, The End of Men by Christina Sweeney Baird, 12 Kings in Sherakai, With Blood Upon the Sand, and Vale of Spears. These are books 1 through 3 of the Song of the Shattered Sands series by Bradley Bellier. The Bone Ships, book 1 of the Tide Child trilogy by R.J. Barker. Senlin Ascends, Arm of the Sphinx, The Hod King, and The Fall of Babel. These are books 1 through 4 of the Books of Babel quartet by Josiah Bancroft. Foundry Side and Shorefall, books 1 and 2 of the Founders series by Robert Jackson Bennett. City of Miracles, City of Stairs, and City of Blades by Robert Jackson Bennett. Something Wicked, This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. The City of Brass and The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. The Fall, a novella by Brian Cahill. Leviathan Wakes, Caliban's War, Abaddon's Gate, Sibylla Byrne, Nemesis Games, Babylon's Ashes, Persepolis Rising, and Tiamat's Wrath. These are books 1 through 8 of the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, A Closed and Common Orbit, Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers, 2001: A Space Odyssey, The City in the Stars, and Childhood's End, all by Arthur C. Clarke. Dark Matter and Recursion by Blake Crouch, and Alchemy of Masks and Mirrors, A Labyrinth of Scions and Sorcery, The Last Uncharted Sky. This is the Risen Kingdoms trilogy by Curtis Craddock. Spellslinger and Shadow Black by Sebastian T. Castell. Arrival and Other Stories by Ted Ching. Sphere by Michael Crichton. The Philip K. Dick Reader. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. The Queen of Blood, The Reluctant Queen, and the Queen of Sorrow by Sarah Beth Durst. Kill the Queen, Protect the Prince, and Crush the King by Jennifer Estep, Pillar to the Sky by William Forstchen, The Graveyard Book, Neverwhere, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and Coraline, all by Neil Gaiman, Queens of Venice Lear, and Lady Hotspur by Tessa Gratton, Malice, Valor, Ruin, and Wrath by John Gwynne. This is his Faithful and the Fallen quartet. A Time of Dread and A Time of Blood by John Gwynne. This is books 1 and 2 of his Blood and Bone series. And The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is book 1 in the Bloodsworn series. The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. City of Lies and Hollow Empire by Sam Hawke. The Girl in Red by Christina Henry. Dune by Frank Herbert. Ship of Magic, Mad Ship, and Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb. This is her Live Ship Traders trilogy. Assassin's Apprentice, Royal Assassin, and Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. This is her Farseer trilogy. Fool's Errand, Golden Fool, and Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb. This is her Tawny Man trilogy. Dragon Keeper, Dragon Haven, and City of Dragons by Robin Hobb. These are books 1 through 3 of her Rain Wilds Chronicles series. Fool's Assassin, Fool's Quest, and Assassin's Fate by Robin Hobb. This is her Fitz and the Fool trilogy. And Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. Wool, Shift, and Dust by Hugh Howey. This is his Silo trilogy. The Stars Are Legion by Cameron Hurley. Gilded Cage, Tarnished City, and Bright Ruin, all by Vic James. The Raven Tower by Ann Leckie. Nevernight, God's Grave, and Dark Dawn by Jay Kristoff. This is his Nevernight Chronicles. Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Mythago Wood by Robert Holstock. The Poppy War and the Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. Prince of Thorns, King of Thorns, and Emperor of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. Prince of Fools, The Liar's Key, and The Wheel of Osham by Mark Lawrence. This is his Red Queen's War trilogy. Red Sister, Grey Sister, and Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence. This is his Book of the Ancestor trilogy. Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. Jade City by Fonda Lee. The Lies of Locke Lamora. Red Seas Under Red Skies, and The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch. Taliesin, Merlin, and Author by Stephen R. Lawhead. Neuromancer by William Gibson. The Sword in the Storm, Book 1 of the Regante series by David Gemmell. Salvation by Peter F. Hamilton. The Ruin of Kings and the Name of All Things by Jen Lyons. A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martin. The Kingdom of Liars by Nick Martell. All Our Wrongs Today by Elon Mestai. Promise of Blood, The Crimson Campaign, and The Autumn Republic by Brian McKellen. This is his Powder Mage trilogy. Sins of Empire and Wrath of Empire by Brian McKellen. These are books 1 and 2 of his Gods of Blood and Powder series. Blackwing and Ravencry by Ed McDonald. These are books 1 and 2 of the Ravensmark trilogy. Mem by Bethany C. Morrow. The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern. Sleeping Giants, Waking Gods, and Only Human by Sylvan Newville. Spinning Silver, Uprooted, and A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. To Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. Guards by Terry Pratchett. Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Lestat, and The Queen of the Damned by Anne Rice. Hyperion, The Fall of Hyperion, and Endymion by Dan Simmons. The Book of M by Pung Shepard. The Pariah by Anthony Ryan. This is book 1 in his Covenant of Steel series. The Waking Fire, The Legion of Flame, and The Empire of Ashes by Anthony Ryan. This is his Draconis Memoria series. Blood Song, Tower Lord, and Queen of Fire by Anthony Ryan. This is his Raven's Shadow series. Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, The Final Empire, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. This is his Mistborn trilogy. The Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, and The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. These are books 1 through 3 in his Mistborn Era 2 series. The Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, Oathbringer, and Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. These are books 1 through 4 of the Stormlight Archive series. Arcanum Unbounded, the Cosmere Collection, and Edge Dancer, a Stormlight story by Brandon Sanderson. Skyward, Starsight, and Kytonic by Brandon Sanderson. This is his Skyward series. The Night Parade by Ronald Malfi. Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz. A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. The Name of the Wind and the Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. City of Ghosts, Tunnel of Bones, and Bridge of Souls by Victoria Schwab. This is her Cassidy Blake series. The Near Witch by B.E. Schwab. Vicious and Vengeful, books 1 and 2 in her Villain series by V.E. Schwab. This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet by V.E. Schwab. This is the Monsters of Verity duology. A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows, and A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. This is her Darker Shades of Magic trilogy. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and Gallant by V.E. Schwab. Contact by Carl Sagan. Poison Study, Magic Study, and Fire Study by Maria V. Snyder. Empire of Sand and Realm of Ash by Tasha Suri. The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. Age of Myth, Age of Swords, and Age of War by Michael J. Sullivan. Children of Time and Children of Ruin by Adrian Tchaikovsky. The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight and Other Stories, translated by J.R.R. Tolkien. Menagerie by Rachel Vincent. The War of the Worlds, The Time Machine, and The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. The Black Prism, The Blinding Knife, The Broken Eye, The Blood Mirror, and The Burning White by Brent Weeks. The Way of Shadows, Shadow's Edge, and Beyond the Shadows by Brent Weeks. This is his Night Angel trilogy. The Dragonbone Chair, The Stone of Farewell, To Green Angel Tower Part 1 and 2 by Tad Williams. Otherland, City of Golden Shadow. Otherland, River of Blue Fire. Otherland, Mountain of Black Glass. Otherland, Sea of Silver Light. This is all by Tad Williams. The Thousand Names, The Shadow Throne, Prince of Valor, and The Guns of Empire by Django Wexler. Project Hail Mary and The Martian by Andy Weir. For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. Red Queen, Glass Sword, King's Cage, and Warstorm by Victoria Aveyard. Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. The Beautiful by Renee Audier. The Wrath and the Dawn and The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Audier. Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. King of Scars and Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. Contagion and Immunity by Aaron Bowman. Sky Without Stars by Jessica Brody and Joanne Rendell. Anna Dressed in Blood and Girl of Nightmares by Kendar Blake. 3 Dark Crowns, 1 Dark Throne, 2 Dark Reigns, and 5 Dark Fates by Kendar Blake. White Cat, Red Glove, and Black Heart by Holly Black. The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and the Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is her Folk of the Air trilogy. The Last Namsara and the Caged Queen by Kristen Cicerelli. Passenger and Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. Black Hearts by Nicole Castroman. Ink and Spark by Alice Broadway. A Great and Terrible Beauty, Rebel Angels, and the Sweet Far Thing by Libba Bray. The Demon King, The Exile Queen, The Grey Wolf Throne, and The Crimson Crown, all by Cinda Williams-Chima. This is her 7 Realms series. Flamecaster, Shadowcaster, Stormcaster, and Deathcaster by Cinda Williams-Chima, and this is a spin-off to her original 7 Realms series. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, and Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare and other authors. Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. The Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials, and the Death Cure by James Dashner. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. House of Salt and Sorrows and Small Favors by Aaron A. Craig. The Girl in the Steel Corset by Katie Cross. House of Dragons by Jessica Cluess. A Shadow Bright and Burning, A Poison Dark and Drowning, and A Sorrow Fierce and Falling by Jessica Cluess. The Glass Spare in the Cursed Sea by Lauren De Stefano. Truth Witch, Wind Witch, and Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. Even the Darkest Stars and All the Wandering Light by Heather Fawcett. Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. Caraval, Legendary, Finale, and Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. All the Stars and Teeth by Adlyn Grace. 1,000 Pieces of You, 10,000 Skies Above You, and A Million Worlds Without You by Claudia Gray. Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. Mask of the Red Death by Bethany Griffin. Rebel of the Sands, Traitor to the Throne, and Hero at the Fall by Alwyn Hamilton. Scarlet by A.C. Coggan. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, The Evolution of Mara Dyer, and The Retribution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. Everless and Evermore by Sarah Holland. Roseblood, Splintered, Unhinged, and Ensnared by A.G. Howard. The Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James. A Beast in Beauty by Stacey J. The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Corey. A Curse So Dark and Lonely, A Heart So Fierce and Broken, A Vow So Bold and Deadly, and Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. The Other Side of the Sky by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. These Broken Stars, This Shattered World, and Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. The Diabolic, The Empress, and the Nemesis by S.J. Kincaid. Grave Mercy, Dark Triumph, and Mortal Heart by Robin Lefevers. The Valiant and the Defiant by Leslie Livingston. Legend, Prodigy, and Champion by Marie Lu. Warcross and Wildcard by Marie Lu. Shatter Me, Unravel Me, and Ignite Me by Tahara Mafi. Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Renegades by Marissa Meyer. Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, and Winter by Marissa Meyer. Starflight and Starfall by Melissa Landers. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. The Orphan Queen and the Mirror King by Jodi Meadows. Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer. The Host by Stephanie Meyer. Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. The Knife of Never Letting Go, The Ask and the Answer, and Monsters of Men by Patrick Ness. Aragon, Eldest, Brissinger, and Inheritance by Christopher Paolini. Delirium, Pandemonium, and Requiem by Lauren Oliver. Crown of Feathers and Heart of Flames by Nikki Palpretto. The Kiss of Deception, The Heart of Betrayal, and the Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson. There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. Heart of Iron and Soul of Stars by Ashley Poston. The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman. Sing Me Forgotten by Jessica Olson. These Rebel Waves and These Divided Shores by Sarah Roche. The Queen's Rising and the Queen's Resistance by Rebecca Ross. Under the Never Sky and Into the Still Blue by Veronica Rossi. Vespertine, Sorcery of Thorns, and An Enchantment of Ravens, all by Margaret Rogerson. Carve the Mark and the Fates Divide by Veronica Roth. Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant by Veronica Roth. The Winner's Curse, The Winner's Crime, and The Winner's Kiss by Marie Rukatsky. Crown of Coral and Pearl by Mara Rutherford. Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schultz. Bloodleaf and Greythorn by Crystal Smith. Sherwood and Hunted by Megan Spooner. The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, Blue Lily, Lily Blue, and The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This Mortal Coil, This Cruel Design, and This Vicious Cure by Emily Suvada. Timekeeper by Tara Sim. An Ember in the Ashes, A Torch Against the Night, A Reaper at the Gates, and A Sky Beyond the Storm by Saba Tahir. Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. The Fifth Wave, The Infinite Sea, and The Last Star by Rick Yancey. Blood Red Road, Rebel Heart, and Raging Star by Moira Young. Fable and Namesake by Adrienne Young. Sky in the Deep and The Girl the Sea Gave Back by Adrienne Young. Blood Air by Amelie Wenzhou. Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. A collection of Tennyson's poetry. Watership Down by Richard Adams. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. The Inferno by Dante Alighieri. Beowulf, author unknown. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgkin Burnett. Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. Flatland by Edwin Abbott. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. The Red Badge of Courage by Stephen Crane. 2 Years Before the Mast by Richard Henry Donner Jr. Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. The Count of Monte Cristo, The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. The Lover by Marguerite Duras. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Robin Hood by Henry Gilbert. Tess of the Dubervilles by Thomas Hardy. The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. The Outsiders and That Was Then, This Is Now by S.E. Hinton. The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Excuse the destroyed cover. A Separate Piece by John Knowles. The Turn of the Screw and Other Stories by Henry James. We Have Always Lived in the Castle and The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. To Kill a Mockingbird and Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee. Moby Dick and Billy Budd and Other Stories by Herman Melville. The Painted Veil by W. Somerset Maugham. Paradise Lost by John Milton. Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. Animal Farm and 1984 by George Orwell. All Quiet on the Western Front by Enrique Maria Remarque. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Other Stories by Robert Louis Stevenson. Dracula by Bram Stoker. Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. The Age of Innocence and the House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. In the Hills Above the Gristmill by Calvin Ellis. The Woman in Cabin 10. The Death of Mrs. Westaway and The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, The Guest List by Lucy Foley, A Ruin of Roses by K.F. Breene, The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George, Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk, The Simple Wild and Wild at Heart by K.A. Tucker, Girl with the Pearl Earring by Tracy Chevalier, Hood by Stephen Lawhead, The Far Side of the World by Patrick O'Brien, The Reader by Bernard Slink, The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody, We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, Letters to the Lost and More Than We Can Tell by Bridget Kemmerer, Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston, Of Curses and Kisses by Zendaya Manon, The Beast's Heart by Leif Shallcross, Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson, Forbidden by Tabitha Suzama, Wait for Me by Caroline Leach, Love and Luck by Jenna Evans Welch, The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Okay guys, and then on the top of my shelf I have my Harry Potter series, and then I also have The Tales of Beetle the Bard, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Quidditch Through the Ages. Next to that, I have the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, and these are not in order. And then next, I have the Jim Butcher series. I think it's the Codex Alera. And then I have Stormfront all the way at the bottom. Next, I have some of like my big thick books that I didn't want to keep on the main shelves. So I have the entire Chronicles of Narnia. And then I have some leather-bound Barnes & Noble classics. So I have Irish Fairy and Folk Tales, the complete Jane Austen 7 novels, The Wizard of Oz, the complete Sherlock Holmes, Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales, the complete Tales and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe, the Iliad and the Odyssey, the complete works of William Shakespeare, 7 of Jules Verne's novels, and then Beauty and the Beast and other classic fairy tales. And then over here, I have the Star Wars prequel trilogy. I have The Great Book of Amber, which is the entire Amber Chronicles by Robert Zelazny. And then I have a Charles Dickens compilation, which includes Oliver Twist, The Tale of Two Cities, Great Expectations, and A Christmas Carol. So this is everything, once again, that I have on the top of my bookshelf that are books. All right, you guys, that is it for my 2022 bookshelf tour. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye.